We'd like to continue our conversation about the challenges Asian Americans are facing. I'm joined right now by actor Tzi Ma, author, producer, director, and chef Eddie Huang, activist and journalist Helen Zia, actress Jennifer Cheon Garcia, and television personality and podcast host Cheryl Burke. Welcome, and thank you all so much for joining us. You know, I want to begin with a question to the panel, starting with you, Jen. When you heard about the shootings at the Asian spas in Georgia, what went through your mind?
Many things went through my mind. I mean, I still get really emotional when I think about it. And I just thought to myself, you know, when I heard that 911 call, that sounds like how my father speaks. And it just, it made me so sick because I could hear how calm and how afraid she was. But that's why I think it's so important that we have conversations like this and people coming together to talk about this, because this can't happen. It can't happen anymore.
You know, this is the culmination for Asian Americans of 15 months, ever since the coronavirus was first detected, that our communities have been under siege. And many of us, even back at the beginning of this year, said this was going to be bad. Some of us even privately talked about the possibility of mass killings because we knew it was possible. And so here we are, kind of at our worst nightmare. And sad to say, I don't think it's over yet.
Cheryl, what about you? What did you think?
I am still in shock. It's hard to process. I lost sleep. My family, they're from the Bay Area. I have family in Atlanta, and I can't help but think, God forbid, you know, just those cries for help, the fact that they're not saying if this is a hate crime, or the fact that they even had to think about it. I mean, call it as it is. It's really frustrating that this is 2021, and, you know, like Helen said, I don't think it's over.
Tzi, what about you?
When I first heard the news, I was heartbroken. I could not get rid of the sadness that was washed over me. I wish I could say I was shocked and surprised. Unfortunately, I'm not. I've been in the trenches for many years, and I'm familiar with Helen's work. We've marched, we've done demonstrations. We're not as silent as people say we are. We've been active for many years, all the way back when the first railroad workers who came from China to build this continental railroad of ours. So I am proud of who we are, and I want to remind everybody, we are children of those people who came under tremendous hardship.
Unlike Tzi, I was in shock. I was definitely in shock. You know, my parents, the other parents at Chinese school and grandparents, ever since I was a kid, had always told us, you know, this isn't our country. They always would tell us that, you know, be good, do your homework, follow the rules. This isn't our country. We're not fully equal here, and don't cause any trouble. Don't rock the boat. And I've been very outspoken my entire life, but watching this for the first time, I was really in shock. Like, people really hate us, like right now.
I'm curious, in the wake of what we saw take place and what we have been seeing recently with this anti-Asian violence, show of hands, how many of you are fearful right now? Raise your hands. Pretty much everyone. How many of you are angry right now? Helen, let me start with you. Why?
Well, as all the other panelists said, this is not new. It's our particular role that white supremacy and systemic racism has given to Asian Americans to isolate us, to blame us, to attack us. All of us on this panel were aware of just the intensity of the hate that was going on starting 15 months ago. And it's infuriating that it's taken a terrible, you know, mass killing for other people to recognize it.
Jen, you had your hand up too. What is making you angry in this moment?
It's still an ongoing fight. My mom was born and raised in Mexico City. And my dad was born in Korea and grew up in Seoul. There's nothing about their cultures that were the same. And I mean, they still don't even really speak the same language, but what they spoke was that American dream, that coming to a promised land, and for the opportunity for my brother, my sister, and myself, and our kids, and our kids. And we're still here. And even though you're born of American, you have an American passport, you have a Canadian passport, you are still treated like a foreigner. And that's why I'm angry. Why do you choose violence? I'm over it. Sorry, I kind of lost my cool there.
No, listen, this is why we're having this conversation, Jen. Do not apologize for how you feel. Ty, let me ask you, because of your extensive career, and I am looking across the landscape now at our institutions in this country. How has Hollywood shaped perceptions of Asians, and particularly Asian Americans?
Well, in the beginning, we're the convenient scapegoat. We're the yellow peril. We're the Fu Manchus, and we're the Susie Wangs. And hopefully, all the collective effort of Oscar to white, Me Too movement, all of those things have assisted the change in Hollywood. I'm shooting a show in Vancouver, and it's the first time I've ever had an Asian American woman showrunner, ever. All of the entire writer's room is reflexive of inclusion and representation. Women, people of color, LGBTQ. All our directors also reflect that. I have never seen that, ever. So that's progress.
Yeah, I would agree with Ty, and amazing work that Ty did on The Farewell. It really helped a lot. I mean, that was one of the first films to, really give dimension to Asian characters. In Hollywood, Asians have always been the butt of jokes. And how do you become the butt of jokes? Well, first you have to dehumanize us. You have to strip us of our agency. You have to strip us of our dimension. You have to fragment and break us down. I love Breakfast at Tiffany's, but look at what they did to, there's a yellow-faced character in that film that's absolutely disgusting. Hollywood's history is riddled with stuff like this, and we're just coming out of it. But I think it's about reclaiming our humanity. And I do think it will make it a much harder to attack us physically once people see us as whole human characters. And that's what I've done with Boogie, is I've presented a film that is very true to my experience, my emotions.
Jen, does this feel like an inflection point to you for Asian Americans?
I mean, I am optimistic, but I am cautiously optimistic. I know that there are good people on this earth. I know that there are way more good people than they are bad. It's just the bad has had the microphone for a very, very long time. But we're taking that microphone back.
All right, well, Tzi Ma, Eddie Huang, Helen Zia, Jennifer Cheon Garcia, and Cheryl Burke, what a privilege it has been to talk to you all tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.